You guys hear me? Okay. I can definitely hear myself up here. How are you? I'm John Killcommons with ZuluCloud. I'm going to go through a couple things today. Basically, I'm going to see if I can actually make it through 60 minutes because I'm a pretty good talker. If you guys have any questions or want to ask me how I do something, you can interrupt me at any time. And hopefully you guys find this interesting. I founded ZuluCloud back in 2015, and I ran into a problem. I've been in the healthcare space since 1992, developing different types of software solutions for getting images online for doctors to read. We ran into an issue where we couldn't ingest enough data to process the images fast enough for the radiologist to read on old PACS systems or older technologies. So back a little bit earlier, before I founded ZuluCloud, I started doing microsegmentation of services and microservices. 2015, we officially started ZuluCloud, and the effort was basically to take a PACS system and allow a radiology group to read images anywhere in the country. So it's been pretty helpful. The company's main mission is to support as many people as we can help and service around the world and make it very easy and cost effective. You know, one of the big things I had to make a decision about, you know, from 2012 to 2015 was deciding as an engineer how I'm going to actually attack this problem in a manner that's going to let me not only address my initial concern, but future concerns. So I realized very quickly I needed a medical framework around the product. And back when I first started, you know, the cloud services weren't such a big thing. So we spent a lot of time on infrastructure. So we've created our own private cloud, which is based on Cephs and object orientation. And we microserved this, you know, through Kubernetes. So we've been doing some of the Kubernetes stuff recently, but we just started with basically VMs, and now we're starting to get into that part. I don't think I have to explain all the good reasons around Cake, other than the people I work with are amazing, and we've done some really cool projects. You know, when we talk about the projects, obviously we had the reading platform, and I can demonstrate if you guys are that interested in it. But basically, we have radiologists around the world, from Afghanistan to Hawaii to Singapore, reading for patients around the world. We're connected to about 95 hospitals or radiology groups around the country. And so far, you know, I went back last night, and the number is actually closer to 3 billion medical records through the platform, all done on Cake's framework. So, and that just goes back to the ability to scale and offer the services out to the clients easily and effectively. We also developed a virtual triage, which has been kind of fun. Because of COVID, they needed a way to basically inpatient patients from their homes and then direct them to facilities around the country. So the patients can actually start their communication on an SMS text, and then it can escalate to an audio call or a video call before they even show up at the facilities. And then obviously we'd have patient wait times and stuff that we could feed back into the system to get the patients to where they need to go. And then Zulu Radar, we've done it for a couple different things for geofencing. So I do a decent amount of work with the military. So we've created boundaries around a medical unit. So as patients come in, we can start identifying them wirelessly. So if they have any type of cell phone or anything, we'll pick up the signal, and then we'll start identifying them, and then we tag it into facial recognition as well. So we're getting into a decent amount of AI work now, which has been kind of interesting. You know, the big things for me when we started with it was I needed something that I could deploy easily. We can spin up a system probably within 10 minutes of a customer request, and they can start ingesting studies pretty quickly. But it needed to scale. So in our data centers, we have 5 petabytes in each data center, and they geo-replicate depending on what they need to do. You know, if the customer is an active, we'll work with them on that. And we have a full suite of tools and IP space to allow us to do that. With ZuluCloud, basically what I'm starting to do now is I'm taking what I've done with ZuluCare and I'm basically commercializing it a little bit. And I'm actually coming back to developers to say, how can I create an environment that allows you to deploy your infrastructure within the standard frameworks? Because one of the things that I run into a decent amount, and I'm sure some of you guys do, is providers like AWS and Azure, while they're fantastic, they're very complicated, very costly. So I can stand up a petabyte of data for about $250,000. So if you do the investment and you have that much data to ingest, you can actually do a very cost-effective cloud service. And then we're developing a UI and API as we're speaking that allows you guys just to spin up, put your bill of materials in GitHub or GitLab, and it'll actually deploy the microservices through Kubernetes. So we're using Talos as our platform, so it'll be immutable. It'll scale horizontally and vertically depending on which way you want to go. And you can actually move the services between Amazon or Azure back into our data center to Google Play or whoever you want. So we're just trying to open it up because one of the things that I like about ZuluCare is, since it's all API driven and the way we've developed it, is I can offer my services out to other developers to actually ingest data and run their applications on top of it. And as I was doing that, I realized I could do that for more than just my enclave of users. And I guess this is somewhat fun, but I don't know if this is going to go through. We're going to find out.
Welcome to Rat Assistant.
So what we've done here is we're taking some of the AI and we're actually identifying body parts based on open source tools for image recognition, and we're cataloging the images. So it'll go through and it'll identify like the letter marker if they have EKG in the body, but then it actually does all the back end work. So that's some of the places that we're starting to get into now with ZuluCare. And again, the big piece that we want to do with this is keeping it in an open framework, because we do want to publish this so it can go outside of my group of developers. And it does all the calculations within the body. And this just gets back to some of the focus that we're starting to do on the cloud platform, is to allow developers to come in and do that, to actually integrate. It's a minimalist approach. I like to start small and scale into things, just like I did with ZuluCare. So we're taking very simple approaches to let people spin up instances, access storage, create an S3 interface stuff. And then part of the stuff that we've learned with ZuluCare is the ability to do your own security reviews. So it'll let you tag in, if you want to use, SonarQube or something else to actually review your code before you go to publish, you'll be able to do that. Again, right now we currently do automatically scale horizontally and vertically. And since we have to interoperate not only with the government cloud, but the public clouds, we've kind of organized most of that automation already. There's a couple pieces in there that are a little sticky. But the goal with the cloud that we're building now is just to make it affordable and price models that fit into the group of users we're extending to. And I'm looking just to extend it to developers. So I'm not looking to go into become a cloud service provider for managed services or anything like that, just for developers. And then obviously the environments are all designed for what the US requires for FedRAMP, HIPAA compliant, high tech. And we have all the certifications around those. Dude, I'm fast. I don't think we have an hour of discussion unless you guys have questions. Okay. I don't see, is there any, yes.
What's the size of your team, your development team, working on this project?
I don't know how big are we. It depends. We scale. Yeah, so it depends. I think the most I think is like 8, 9. Yeah, it's been about 8 or 9. So it's been good. Yeah.
You said you had about 3 billion records or so in your You said that you had about 3 billion records or so. I wanted to know in your testing, getting up to that kind of scale, did you test different platforms, I mean, databases, and which one did you ultimately settle with?
So we originally started on MySQL and we transitioned over to Postgres. Um, I was actually more concerned about the storage capabilities than I was about database capacity. And then we added Mongo. That was a big improvement in speed. We transitioned, it was probably about 100,000, 200,000. It was early in the project when we made the transition. But we loaded up about a petabyte of data before I started to scale back some of the customers that weren't paying for storage. I scaled them back at that point because I realized that the platform could scale. I could containerize the data. I could secure it, secure encryption at rest. So we had all the components kind of checked off at that point. But about 100,000 medical records is about where we started to say we were having issues displaying the list. And then we truncated it a little bit on the viewer side so that the user doesn't see the whole list. We only build out what they can see in the screen, right? So we're building it live as they scroll through.
Thank you.
Yep.
What management tools and like other, I guess, things do you use for like managing the like Kubernetes and other parts of this?
We're mostly using, so Talos comes with a bunch of tools, but we're using a lot of Python and then Ansible for the build outs.
Okay.
And then we
And
interface with a company, it's a WHCMS, which is the order management platform. So you can actually order services and then go out. The network's based on Juniper, so we're using a lot of Junos and stuff like that. So it's easy for us to spin up. We've automated everything from the VPN, so the clients can actually build out their own VPNs on the network, which is a basic form. And then it goes out and tags the environment or the resource that they're associated with. So,
and then another one is like, I guess, how did you have to do a bunch of things to like get like HIPAA certification or whatever things?
so HIP is more of a trust than it is someone coming in and verifying. But like your SOC 2, your high trust, we go through all that with the independent auditor. But a lot of it just comes down to the design. Like if you start, one of the problems with older PAC systems and their monolithic approach is securing things. And one of the things I love about Cake is our ability to integrate with basically, a trusted identity provider. So I can either provide the identity or my customers can, and we just do the interface there. And we support some of the stuff you guys talk about in the data centers as well, like in terms of clients using YubiKeys for the VPNs and then passing on that authentication scheme. So we run like an LDAP server and AD server depending on the client. And basically it's just making it easier for people to stand up those environments. Because again, we have clients moving from Azure and AWS because of the complexity and costs that they didn't expect. And then they come over and like, we don't need Duo. I'm like, no, you can just plug into our environment and we'll do that. So it's streamlined for the healthcare clients. And we're just basically expanding that to say, we can take on other projects now. And the infrastructure we're in is, it's a type 3 data center in New York and Austin. And then we're tied to the top tier carriers. We basically have everything from the IP addresses all the way through. So if we do have clients that have certain requirements, like we have satellite Earth stations. So we actually have an Earth station down in Austin. So we're actually connected not to, it's Marisat. We're doing about, I think, 50 megabits or something like that for satellite services. So. Cool. Again, a lot faster than I thought it would be, but that's good. Give some time back to you guys.
Other questions? Anybody? Okay. Thank you, John.
Yep. Thanks, guys.